All right, folks. All right. There is going to be a large segment of the fan base that wants me to crash out and yell and scream and get mad at the usual suspects. There are people that are going to want me to be really mad at Stuart Skinner tonight, or Evan Bouchard, or Darnell Nurse, or, whoever, right? Whoever. But honestly, I'm looking at this game as kind of a glass half full for some reason. Normally, I would be pretty down about blowing another multi-goal lead. This is a pattern this season. Edmonton has lost 9 games, and in 6 of those losses, they have blown multi-goal leads. That is not good. The team as a whole is just a little discombobulated right now. They're not playing the way that we're accustomed to seeing. A lot of it is tactics by Chris Knoblauch. He has them playing much more defensively, much more trap-style hockey, especially when the team gets a lead. It's like they just decide to sit back. I don't know if Knoblauch looked at what the LA Kings were doing the last few years in the playoffs and went, we should be doing that. But for Stuart Skinner tonight, he had a +1 goal saved above expected. That's good. Now people will say, but an under 900 save percentage. That's true. That's true. But the high danger chances tonight were 19-4 in favor of the Dallas Stars. And Stuart Skinner, for 50 minutes tonight, played terrific hockey. He played great in his crease tonight. And for someone who has been extremely hard on Stu, I've been incredibly hard on the goaltending this season, even dating back to the second half of last season, actually, and in the playoffs. Stuart Skinner is far from the problem right now when it comes to this group. Yes, he didn't make a save in the shootout. 2 goals or 2 pucks beat him, and then 1 missed the net. So he technically didn't make a single save in the shootout. But I don't care what happens in shootouts. It's not hockey to me. I find shootouts to be boring. I don't even watch them. I'm going to be completely transparent with all of you. I don't watch shootouts. I think shootouts are lame. As soon as a game ends, as soon as overtime is over, I just close the game out, and then I wait to see who won in the shootout, and then I'll catch the highlights, and then I'll talk about it. Tonight, Stu was not the problem. Evan Bouchard was not the problem. I thought Evan Bouchard actually had a pretty good game tonight. He bounced back. He was a +1 rating, had an assist, made a few good defensive plays, had a couple giveaways, but he looked engaged tonight. Tonight was a game where the Oilers grinded a point. I'm looking at this from the perspective of they grinded out a point on the second half of a back-to-back against a difficult Stars team. Yes, Dallas is injured. They have a lot of injuries. They're not running their top lineup right now. But the amount of back-to-backs that the Oilers have played, the amount of, I guess, road games, back-to-backs and road games, and they have another 2 sets of back-to-backs later this month and a huge road trip. Right now, I think the Oilers are just trying to tread water, 500 hockey, and hope that when Zach Hyman is back, that kind of, that'll elevate the team. That'll give them an energy boost, and then they can really start to fit the pieces where they want when it comes to certain player personnel. We know Janmark's going to be back soon, although I would prefer not to see him in the lineup. But because we haven't seen him this season, I would actually like to get a look at him, because if Chris Knoblauch is only going to play Isaac Howard for 6 minutes on the second half of a back-to-back, you might as well get guys in the lineup that he is actually willing to play, and maybe that'll lower the ice time of some of their big dogs. They were exhausted in that overtime. Louis DeBrusk made a comment about it during the broadcast. He's like, you're not used to seeing McDavid and Draisaitl so exhausted in overtime. Oh, I wonder why. Second half of a back-to-back, and Knoblauch plays them for 25 minutes. I wonder why they're exhausted, right? Glass half full here. The Oilers grinded out a point. Yes, it's another multi-goal blown lead. I thought the game against St. Louis was more of a game that got pissed away from the team, and I was more mad at the game last night than I am tonight. Tonight likely was a scheduled loss. I think a lot of fans weren't very high on Edmonton. Having the 3-1 lead in the third period, you should be able to lock things down. Stuart Skinner gave up 2 goals on 5 shots against in the third. Obviously, that's not optimal. One of them was just a bad bounce. It went off of Nurse's shin pad, bounced behind the net, bounced out in front. But there's no defensive coverage there either. Jake Wallman was in no man's land. I don't know what Jake Wallman was doing on the back check for that goal for Dallas. We'll take a look at it on the Edge visualizer. But I'm looking at this game glass half full. It would be very easy to have a crash out and freak out about this one. But the Oilers, they get 3 days of rest now. They got a point. They get 3 days of rest, and maybe Zach Hyman plays Saturday. If not, Hyman should be available sometime next week, and we'll get a look at what this team is made of once Hyman is back in. We'll talk about this game, though, right? We'll talk about this game. Listen, I share your frustration. If you want me to freak out, if you think that the team deserves the freak out tonight, it's not happening tonight. Obviously, I'm frustrated, but there has been a lot of negativity lately. I've kind of noticed it on my own channel, the way I've been approaching this team has not exactly been healthy. Some of it has to do with the loss of the Jays on Saturday. It's something that I have to find a way to get over. There was good news for the Jays. If you are a Jays fan, Shane Bieber opted in for one more year for the Jays. He could have become a free agent, but he opted in to stay with Toronto, so that's a good thing. Let's go over the Edge Visualizer, talk about a few players here for the Oilers, and then we'll kind of wrap things up after going over some of the advanced stats. Vasily Podkolzin with his second goal of the season, assisted by Roslovic and Bouchard. Nice job by Roslovic. It was a great individual effort. Skates it back in his own zone, gives it to Bouchard, plays it up to Roslovic, and then he protects the puck. One hand on his stick, he sends it across Podkolzin. It's a one-timer. One-timer on his forehand, and he beats Casey DeSmith, 1-0 Oilers. And then look at where Leon Draisaitl scores this power play goal from. Only Leon can score from here. There are very few players in the NHL that can score from this kind of angle, and Leon Draisaitl is one of a few. Nice play by Roslovic. Little give and go. He plays it into this little corner area, and somehow Draisaitl beats Casey DeSmith. Now Rantanen scores on the power play in the second. Oilers still have a 1-goal lead heading to the third. Connor McDavid gets off the schneid here. He scores another goal. That is his fourth of the season. Nice back check by Mangiapane. Good steal. Skates it in the Dallas Stars zone to Nugent Hopkins, across to McDavid, and then he absolutely rips one past the blocker of Casey DeSmith. Nice goal for Connor McDavid, 3-1 Oilers, but then the Dallas Stars, they answer less than a minute later. Mikko Rantanen, he scores for Dallas, and then Heiskanen ends up tying the game. Puck is played through the neutral zone. You have Wallman and Nurse just kind of having it. Like, where's Nurse going? Can somebody explain to me where Darnell Nurse is going on this play? Watch that again. Just watch number 25. Watch number 25 here, right? Play in the neutral zone. It comes back 3-on-2. Why is he coming over here? What is this? What are you doing? Oh my God. Not a good goal against to give up if you're the Oilers. Bad defensive coverage by Darnell Nurse. And then this one, the tying goal, once again, I don't really blame Nurse here. This one's on Wallman. Wallman's pinching. McDavid's back. But McDavid and Nurse take the same side of the ice. The shot attempt goes off of Nurse's leg. It bounces over here. Heiskanen puts it in the wide open net. And Wallman, he's nowhere to be found to have his coverage in this part of the ice. Nugent Hopkins did not catch up in time. Nuge should have realized, oh, McDavid's going here. I need to get back into coverage. Again, it's just silly defensive blunders by this team. It has been killing this team all season long. Some nights it's Bouchard. Some nights it's Nurse. Tonight, Wallman didn't have a great game. Darnell Nurse did not have a great game. And for Stuart Skinner, people are going to look at the 2 goals against on 5 shots in the third. In the shootout, Robertson scored. Draisaitl had a beautiful goal. Just gorgeous. And then they say save on Rantanen. He didn't even hit the net. Nugent Hopkins was saved, and then Johnston with the game winner. Both of the Stars' goals in the shootout went glove side on Stu, and that's how you beat Stu, man. That glove side is kind of his weak spot, especially on breakaways and one-on-one situations. Time on ice tonight. You had McDavid and Draisaitl both near the 25-minute mark. Draisaitl 24-16, McDavid 25-13. And if you look all the way down here, Tomaszek 6-12, Phillips 6-28, Howard 8-09. Second half of a back-to-back. You think you should be managing your lineup a little bit better here, giving certain guys a few more shifts, guys that'll have fresh legs for you? No, you're going to shorten the bench. Keep shortening that bench, Chris Knobloch. See how it's working out for you. It's working out real good, isn't it? On defense tonight, you had Evan Bouchard lead the team in ice time 25-40, Wallman 25-05. Bouchard 1 assist plus 1. Thought he had a strong game tonight. I thought him and Ekholm looked much better than they have in recent games. Alec Regula, he was back in the lineup. His first game since game number 2 of the season when Evander Kane absolutely rocked him a couple of times. And Regula, obviously, low amount of ice time. They're just letting him get back into the swing of things. I thought Regula looked fine. I didn't think he looked out of place. And he was in the lineup for Emberson tonight. So Ty Emberson didn't deserve to come out of the lineup, I don't think. I've liked Emberson's game, but the Oilers have an abundance of defensemen. They're going to have to make a move soon. Sounds like Troy Stetcher could be the guy that does get moved out, but they have 8 serviceable D-men on the roster right now. They're probably going to have to trade one of them, especially with Zach Hyman imminently returning. Now, Stuart Skinner, like I said, he's going to get pegged for that 889, a sub-900 save percentage. And when I talk about Stu, all I asked for is a 900. Not really reflective of what he had to deal with tonight. If you take a look at the high danger chances, 19-4 in favor of the Dallas Stars. And if you look at the heat map, look at where these chances were coming from for Dallas. And all three of their goals are in this high danger area, this little triangle in front of the net. For the Oilers, their highest danger chances came in the left circle to the net. And of course, Leon Draisaitl's one-timer, just unbelievable. This is on natural stat trick. Second half of a back-to-back, it is a tough loss for the Oilers. They had it in the bag, 2-goal lead in the third period. You should be able to lock things down. 2 defensive breakdowns end up in the back of the net. Goes to overtime. The big dogs are too tired to get anything done in overtime. Stuart Skinner had to make a couple big saves in OT, by the way. We cannot stress that enough. Stuart Skinner, I think, is the reason why Edmonton was even able to get a point tonight. The multi-goal blown leads are obviously getting old. It's frustrating right now. We'll have a lot to talk about in the day after discussion tomorrow, just about the last 2 games and kind of take a look at the Oilers as a whole this season. I mentioned in 6 of the 9 losses for the Oilers, they have blown multi-goal leads in 6 of those games. That's crazy to me. Should not be happening. Not for a team with Stanley Cup aspirations, but this is a team that is not 100%. They've played a lot of hockey over the past 3 weeks or so. Back-to-backs, on the road a bunch, lots of travel. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt right now. Last night, I wasn't so kind. Tonight, it was a gutsy effort. And I know there's going to be fans that are mad. I'm not taking the approach tonight. I'm looking at this as a gutsy effort to get a point and, try and get a few guys back in this lineup, make a trade or two. I think Bowman's been working the phones. He's trying to move either Stetcher or Emberson out. Who knows what he has up his sleeve? He kind of keeps his cards very close to his chest. We don't really know what he's going after. Nobody had Jake Wallman on the trade board last season, so you never know what Bowman ends up doing here. But for Chris Knoblauch, he obviously needs to stop shortening his bench, especially with a lead. He needs to play his top players a little bit less, and he needs to have a little bit more trust in some of his younger players, and he needs to start allowing this team to open up just a bit, right? You can still be defensively responsible without playing just crazy back and forth hockey. I'm not saying completely open it up and trade chance for chance, but tonight, and last night against St. Louis, and what we've seen a lot this season is a very passive team, not really willing to open up and try and generate a lot of offense. The only time we've seen this team really play the way that we're accustomed to was against the Utah Mammoth for 40 minutes. That's kind of the only game that we've seen that, and maybe Vancouver in the second game of the season where they completely dominated the Canucks. This is a team that should be able to turn the ship around. Should. Will they? I don't know. Until they can prove that they are consistently going to be good on a day-to-day basis, a game-to-game basis. Right now, they haven't done that. The Oilers are getting a lot of Bettman points right now, and that is saving their ass. That is absolutely saving their ass from being bottom feeders in the league. They have a lot of games played. Other teams in the Pacific Division have games in hand, so they are likely going to drop a bit in the standings before they can climb back up. Their 5-on-5 play, not good enough, but tonight, gutsy effort. They got a point. Would have liked the 2 points last night. Last night was the game that they pissed away. Tonight, I don't think so. Dallas, they are a desperate team. They haven't been playing as good as they'd like. They have dealt with injuries as well. Glenn Gulletson, little chip on his shoulder, wanting to beat the team that he was just an assistant coach with for the past 5 seasons. So, you know what? It is what it is, folks. We'll talk about it a lot more in the day after discussion tomorrow, all right? Leave all of your thoughts in the comments section below. And as always, tell someone you love them. Fight like a kid. Fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. We'll see you tomorrow for the day after discussion. And then we'll probably have a day or two off moving forward here before the game on Saturday, which will be very exciting, hopefully, against Colorado. That'll be a good one. We'll see you soon, Oil Country. Take care.